third base. Truth don't hide, it just waits for a face, Big footprints in a pine-slick path. Bob Lazar files with a government laugh. Court dates lost in a sea of red tape. We ain't 10-4, we just stay awake. True crime tales in a borrowed voice. We speak for the silence, not by choice. Got boots on the dirt and eyes on the skies, digging up stories they hoped would die. Might, truth, and thunder, we don't back down. With a Bible in the glove box and boots on the ground. Aliens, lies, and backroom deals. We break that silence, 'cause the soul feels real. Military broadcast, midnight run, teaching vets how to speak what the war's done. From trigger pulls to microphone stands, from combat zones to healing hands. Public records, missing names, unsealed files, classified games. We chase what's buried, not what trends, and we pray for light at the truth's deep end. Might, truth, and thunder, we don't back down. With a Bible in the glove box and boots on the ground. Aliens, lies, and backroom deals. We break that silence, 'cause the soul feels real. Some chase fame, we chase the facts. Some fold quick, we read the tracks. It ain't paranoia if it's always been there, and we ain't scared to lay it bare. Into the storm. We ain't perfect, but we were made for this form.
Hello and welcome to Into the Weeds podcast here on Military. Actually, I'm not on Military Broadcast Radio again. Sorry. I'm so used to saying that. I am not streaming on Military Broadcast Radio right now because veterans have that platform right now. So we are here on my channel on Into the Weeds, and I thank everybody for being here. We are going to actually get into the weeds a lot today, I think. And Laura is not here at the moment, but Millennial is here with me. Thank you, Millennial.
You're welcome. Hey, everybody.
Yeah, and so I just wanted to remind everybody that we have a missing person. Her name is Chanda Lore Sanders, and she is a member of the Cheyenne Arapaho tribe. And she has been missing since July 13th, 2022. And so she is a pinned video on my TikTok. Please go share that. She may have been seen at Smokapalooza in Oklahoma City in last year, 2024, but we're not sure if that was an official sighting of her or not. I did talk to the detective in Brownsville about Chanda, and they don't have much information on her. And I've been working with the Cheyenne Arapaho tribe to facilitate, trying to figure out what's happening with her family and everything. So please share this. And then we also have Shannon LaFleur. She went missing January 18th, 2025. She was last seen on 6th Street and South Park View Street in Los Angeles, California. And she is a member of the Choctaw tribe. And I'm working with her aunts, and I think that her children are going to make a statement on our podcast. Parawoman, Amy from Parawoman, she's going to be on with me, and we're going to go over these two ladies. So these are things that are near and dear to my heart, and so I just hope that you share their information out, please. So we're going to get into it. As soon as sorry, my dog.
We found some nuggets for y'all.
Yes, we did. Okay. Sorry, I gotta figure this out.
No worries. No worries.
Okay, here we go. Otzi is a loudmouth. Okay, so I just wanted to share something really interesting that I saw, and it's just a little tidbit, and then we're going to go into a different direction. But on page 260, there is a message, and it is an outbound message from Gypsy, and it was on 5/12/2021. And it says, I have read a few chapters of Anne Rice's Sleeping Beauty series. Books like that are not allowed, but someone had a copy and she let me read some of it for a few days. It was very enticing. I have never read her vampire novels, but I've watched the movie version many times. My mother was an extra in Interview with the Vampire. She was in the background on one scene. I can recite that movie word for word, LOL. When I was like 6, I would do the scene where I can't remember what the girl's name is in the scene, but she cuts her hair all off, and that was Kirsten Dunst's character.
Very interesting. Yeah, Anne
And
Rice was a
yeah,
New Orleans local.
yeah,
TikTok favorite thing. Find Dee Dee and Interview with an Vampire.
yeah. Sorry, Laura came in here and was doing something and she
Oh, no
tripped me up. So it says, I have never been to a Ren fair, but I want to go. My future style of clothing is medieval meets new age, kind of like steampunk, but more Renaissance. I like peasant style dresses and corsets. Okay.
I think this was when she was still Wiccan.
Yeah. And you found something about her switching back and forth from Wiccan?
Well, she changed her religion officially. It's in their DOC file to Wiccan, and she never changed it to Christian, even though she said as soon as she came out that she was done with being Wiccan and that she's Christian now. But her release documents in the DOC file still list her official religion as Wiccan.
Okay. Very interesting. I mean, if you would, well, it probably doesn't matter to her. She probably doesn't care. Okay. So I'm going to go to page 76, and we're going to go to the very top of the page. And we are looking at an outbound message that went out on 9/7/2019 at 59:33, just so you guys know. Okay. So it says, Hi, blank. I wanted to thank you for the visit. It was nice just to talk one-on-one as a woman and not as an interview. I appreciate your honesty and I respect you for not pressuring me to do an interview. You are a rare breed in journalism. You bring a heart to a very cold and careless industry. I will update you from time to time on how I am doing and will take your advice to heart about blank. Hugs, Gypsy. Another outbound message. His name was blank, 36 years old at the time. He attended the convention every year as a regular. He saw me in passing at the convention and decided to find me on Facebook. He sent me a friend request and I accepted. He was flirty with me. Oh, sorry. I lost my place. Hold on. Sorry.
I thought he was cute is the next line.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought he was cute. So yes, you can say it was a wishful relationship. He was under the impression I was 15. Okay, sorry guys, I have cognitive issues and if I lose my place, it takes me forever to find it. So just bear with me. I know it's a pain to listen to me struggle through it, but we're going to get through it all together.
We're here for you.
Thank you. So she's talking about Dan Glidewell there.
Yep.
And here is an inbound message on 5/25/21. Says, hey, Gypsy, I'm going to have Category 6 Productions do the paperwork with blank to do the phone or in-person interview media request. That will be used for the documentary. I'll use the interview for the book. Just wanted to know the name of the production company doing the reach out so you're familiar with their name. Sorry, that's half cut off. Okay, an inbound message on 5/26. Wow, this is incredibly creepy. that this older man would seek you out? I want to explore this more. If you want, you can answer on this email and we can talk on the phone about it more too if you're comfortable. How long did you communicate on Facebook before you ran away to his house? Did he try to take the friendship to a sexual one? If so, what did he say or do, if you remember? When you were with him, did he attempt to be with you sexually? Did you feel safe around him? Why or why not? What were your hopes would happen when you escaped and ran away? I'm going to bring Laura on real quick. Okay. Hey, Laura.
Hi.
Hey.
Okay. Tell me about the abuse after you were found by your mom. Who told your mom where you were? Before blank, had you had any other relationships online with men? Who was your first sexual experience with? Was blank? I believe it's quoted it was blank, but not for sure if that is accurate. By the way, I'm only asking about this to explore your coming of age as a woman. Sexual experiences shape us to some effect. And then this is an outbound. LOL, OMG, no. If you Google blank and find a pic of a guy kneeling down wearing a blue Superman jersey, dark hair and glasses, average height, average build, that is blank. I've Googled his name and that's the pic that came up before. He loves Superman. Superman was his thing. Okay. So I've never seen that picture before.
I feel like I have, but I can't think of where.
What'd you say, Laura?
No, I just said shit. So I'm tuning in a little bit late. Is she talking about like Dan or something like that?
Yeah.
Dan
Yeah.
Gridewell.
Oh wow. Okay. Just from the little bit that I heard, that's insane. So she's literally confirming that Dan took her virginity?
No. We haven't even gotten there yet.
Oh. I thought she said, okay, my bad. I must have just heard something wrong. I thought that she was saying they asked if Nick had taken her virginity, or did I just totally mishear everything?
Well, she was asking who was your first sexual experience with?
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, she's kind of implying it then, right?
No, somebody is just asking her these questions.
Oh, okay. I'm going to just keep talking.
Okay, this is an outbound message 6/2/21, it looks like. So it's the buzz of camp. The woman I told you about, blank, she was convicted of first-degree murder and was on a life without parole sentence. She won her appeal in court. She is set to be released in May 2023. This is concerning to me because she has caused me issues in the past, and I'm concerned she will continue to do so when she is free. I'm assuming this is Sandra Hemme, but don't quote me on this, okay? This is, okay. Blank, when I tell you she put me through it, we were once bunkmates. And when you are in a room together, girls talk, stories are shared. Well, I always had a bad habit of talking too much about my personal life with anyone. She was the one person I should have kept my mouth shut around. She started manipulating me to turn against my friends, family, and at the time, when I was dating blank, she tried to turn me against him as well. She said things like the media pays for his trips to visit you, or perhaps he isn't traveling alone. I had my husband look him up on Facebook, and he has all pictures of this chick. She got in my head enough to where I was having doubts about blank. She told me blank ran a gossip blog and claimed blank said that she feels I am a burden on her and dad. This woman was mind effing the shit out of me, pardon my language, and even as 3 months ago, she had set up some girl to send naked pics to blank phone. Side note, blank has blank number because she stole it from my address book when we were roommates. And she's had girls call him, text him, send nudes to him, all just to get under my skin. And the prison system is letting this master manipulator go free. Wow. Just wow. So she's worried about another master manipulator going free.
Yep.
Okay. So this is an outbound message, 52221. Some bullet points I'd like to be. Okay, whatever. Pre-prison life. The early childhood mental and emotional codependencies that she and I had towards each other, and how the dynamic was unhealthy, and how the good and bad of our relationship kept us linked together for so long. The effects of medical abuse and times when my father seemed really happy in his marriage with blank. The abnormalities in how daily life was different from other children and teenagers. The mutual manipulation that blank and I had on each other during our 2-year relationship. During prison life. The transition of home life with my mother to prison. How the media attention affected me. The growth of relationship between my father and blank and me, my educational advancements, the rise and fall of romantic relationships while in prison. Okay, another message, 52221. The list of names and phone numbers of people I have been closest to when they were in prison with me are, and then it says, blank, known from the first day of prison to currently, blank, met in 2019, we were bunkmates for a year and a half, blank, in 2018, attended school together and have been great friends since, blank, bunkmates in 2017, friends ever since, blank, roommate in 2017 with me and Rebecca McCree, blank was my first roommate in 2016. Here is an inbound message, 521. I'm working on questions for you when we talk, and I'd like to explore some aspects of your story with you. I'd like to really understand when you escaped the first time from your mom. I feel like that most likely the moment you knew you were not going to break away, or at least lost home of finding freedom. Okay. Can you tell me more about that time? How did you come to meet this sci-fi guy? Who was he? Why did he help you? Was this romantic, or did he want it to be romantic relationship? Please tell me the story of the first escape. This would be a great starting point to understand the crisis of the situation. My intention is to fully explain why you felt you had no other options. The abuse and the hostage situation is how we show that. The first escape plans that you couldn't just run away, you tried that and it didn't work. I really need to understand the level of abuse after your escape. Your mom put you through too. I read that she tied you up. Please go into detail so I can understand what you endured. I hope you know I'm having your recount these events to fully flush out what will be. Okay. This is an outbound message from Gypsy. I did get the interview request and I agreed to it. Okay. An outbound message from Gypsy on 5/26/21. The relationship between blank and I was essentially two individuals who had shared this fantasy of being in love but had little to no experience in dating relationships or love. At the beginning, I was very innocent, and my view of love and relationships was through the vision of a Disney film. I believed in the romantic fairy tale, true love, and blank became what I based my focus and vision on. However, he didn't fit the rated PG version of a Prince Charming. About 3 months into our relationship, he began talking about his alternate personality named Victor, who was a 500-year-old vampire. And from this moment on, it began to take a dark turn from the romantic conversations we previously had. It was at this time he told me of his BDSM fetish. I was not aware of what this was when he first mentioned it to me. He had shown me Googled images of women in leather and in handcuffs. He explained that this was what pleased him, and if I loved him, I would be okay with this type of relationship. I was very desperate to keep him interested in me, so I agreed without knowing fully what I was agreeing to. In the months or following year that followed, I believe the 50 Shades book became popular, and it became popular to have this style of relationship. The main dialogue of our entire relationship was him training me to be his sub. Training, in quotation marks, consisted of endless conversations about how to speak, sit, stand, behave around him when he was in his role of Dom. Sounds like she read that book too many times. Okay. So we had this style of relationship, but never once acted it out in a physical manner. It was purely all dialogue. The only things that played out in real life was the videos he instructed me to make for him. He created the dialogue of what I had to say, how I needed to dress in the videos. In addition to this aspect of our relationship, we both had mutual manipulation of being emotionally manipulative. He would play on my desire to save him from his dark side, and I would play on his need for sex to be physically desired. It was unintentional on my part. I only knew if I was what he liked in a sexual sense, then he would continue to stay in the relationship with me. Whereas by the texts and messages, he just wanted someone to control, and he knew my feelings of need for him would keep me interested as long as he would incorporate that he was the true love I longed for. Even if he had this dark side, when that was developing, even if he had this dark side, I always had hope he would let go of his darkness, but he ended up pulling out the darkness within me. When that was developing, then he began this dialogue of crime, and he started to talk about murder and rape. It was frightening, but I thought he was acting in a role. I never took it serious until what would eventually become our crime. Yes, Blank was the first man I had sex with at the movie theater. And OMG, it was horrible. He was obviously inexperienced because he seemed to be just winging it. The second time was after the crime happened, and it was grape. I'm very uncomfortable with this. I have a hard time talking about it. I have lasting emotional trauma because of this experience. And it makes me absolutely sick that at his trial on the stand, I had to bite my tongue and say I wasn't raped because I had prior knowledge that he was going to have sex with me. However, like I said on the stand, I screamed, "Stop, you're hurting me," and he didn't stop. He choked me, and he had my hands held above my head. He gave me no mercy. I meant it when I said stop. I wasn't participating in role play. This was a sacrifice to keep him from being cruel to my mother. What do you think about that?
That's really interesting considering we read that email yesterday, Laura and I did, I believe, where she said, ha ha ha, I'm still basically a virgin. My one time was horrible, TMI.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's quite odd. And I feel so bad questioning someone, especially when they say that they have been assaulted like that.
Yeah.
But
unfortunately, she's changed her story so much, it's just hard not to.
yeah, but at the same time, it's kind of like she's contradicting herself kind of like crazy. And in Nick's interrogation video, it kind of almost makes it seem like she was forcing him to do things that he didn't feel comfortable with. And on top of that, knowing that Dan testified in front of the stand that she's the one who introduced him to BDSM, I do wonder if she kind of discovered BDSM through 50 Shades of Grey, because I know that the book would have had to been out way before then. And it's actually kind of infamous for having very unhealthy dynamics that aren't even appropriate in that community. So it almost makes you wonder if she kind of got some bad ideas from a bad place.
I think she did.
It does. Hey, Amber, what page did you say that was on?
This is on page 76, and it's the third message from the bottom.
Cool. Going along that area, there's a point that we noted talking early on that I don't think we have actually shared with everyone.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me doing that real quick.
No, go ahead.
It is on page 80.
Okay.
Let me locate it. Page 80, she's talking about Dee Dee. Okay, here it is. This is Outbound from Gypsy, August 22nd, 2021.
Okay.
on page 80. I had remembered a faded memory from when I was very little, maybe 5. Mom had a friend named Mark. He liked her and he fixed a room at his place for her and I. I didn't like him, and so I spit on him. I only wanted my dad and mom to get back together because I was not happy with any guy that liked her otherwise. I sometimes feel like I deserve what happened because I guess I wasn't happy with her being with another man, and dad moved on with blank, Christy. And she felt I was stopping her from having a life with anyone else, so her focus was on me. My mom did love another man besides my dad. His name was blank. He's married now, but she loved him.
Yeah, that's sad.
It sounds somewhat typical of a lot of different kids of divorced parents, but seeing that and also knowing how she ended up being is kind of a little red flaggy for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It is, and I mean, I don't know, maybe I just don't know that much, but is it normal for a 5-year-old to spit on somebody? Like I feel like I've been around a lot of kids and never seen that.
I've known a lot of crazy 5-year-olds. I hung
Okay.
around when I was a kid. I knew some kids that would do some downright nasty and vile stuff, and then
Gotcha.
not to sound like one of those people, but man, some of the kids, the younger kids of this generation I've been around, they have like no self-control. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I've been in children's and youth ministry for 20 something years. So, yeah, it depends on the child. I mean, there's some wild kids, I've seen a lot. So just because they're a child doesn't mean they're not doing some really bad things.
Gotcha.
Okay. So yeah, that did hurt my heart though when I read that the first day that
Mhm.
you know that
Dee had
Dee
boyfriends and
yeah.
actual loves,
Mm-hmm.
and Gypsy didn't want it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Yeah,
kind
so
of sad.
it just shows who she's been for a long time.
Yeah, and it really kind of rocks that narrative that, Dee was obsessed only with Gypsy straight out of her own
Yeah.
mental issue. No, Gypsy, we know now that Gypsy literally run off men that she tried to be with
Mm-hmm.
from a
Yep,
young age.
and they had gotten to the stage where he had actually fixed a room for them. So,
Right.
yeah, I feel bad for her.
And then we don't know if she was talking about the same man in that part because they didn't blink out the name at the
Mhm.
top, but they did at the bottom. So we
Mhm.
don't know if it's the same one or if there was 2 different men that she was involved with. So, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and I came from a divorced family, and my parents divorced when I was young. And my mom had one boyfriend that ended up becoming my stepdad, and he was weird, so I was afraid of him, but I didn't ever feel like I needed to run him off or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't like your stepmom very much.
Yeah, but I never tried to run her off.
You didn't run her off, no. But
And I never spit
that's
on her or treated her
yeah.
disrespectfully.
Yeah. No, just to play devil's advocate, I do know a lot of kids that do stuff like that though that I've heard
Mhm.
of. So, but
Gotcha.
again, if a trend obviously is formed throughout her life, so that's the concerning part of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay, we're going to go back to page 76. And we're going down to the second to the last, and it's 5/26/2021. This is Outbound. Says, so my idea for the book is basically what will be 32 years of my life within its pages. I think the focus being the emotional and mental complexity of what I've been through and the struggle to find myself and have the freedom to have a life of my own. Give the readers a deeper look into what life was like for me. It seemed like each phase of growing up created a more intense hold my mother had on me until it ultimately led to the murder. But I really don't want to linger too much on the murder itself. I feel that part of the story has been repeated, or that part of the story has been repeatedly told. I believe we can somehow fit the suspicion of my grandmother having MBP as well, and that cycle repeating itself. This is why I would need the help of an author. There is so much information, and I'm not sure how to sculpt it to create this book. Okay. Next outbound message, 5/27/21. I sent you a long email about the dynamic in the relationship between blank and I. I didn't go into huge details about the sexual aspect because I feared the email would be censored, but I briefly touched on the traumatic things I've been through with that. Okay, now we're going to page 77. Outbound, 5/27/2021. Not that it's super important to me, but an idea for a title, Memoirs of a Caged Bluebird, the Gypsy Rose Blanchard story. Reason being, when I was home, I always would look out my window. I seemed to live vicariously through the bluebirds outside. I always felt like a bluebird in an invisible cage. So I thought it would be fitting for a title, but then again, it just, sorry, I can't read. So I thought it would be fitting for a title, but then again, it's just a suggestion. Okay, so she talks about being a bluebird quite a bit, and I find it ironic because according to Dee Dee's sister, she loved cardinals.
I feel like she was trying to be a Maya Angelou. I know why the caged bird sings.
Yes.
The caged bluebird.
Yes.
And you ain't Maya Angelou, Gypsy, Lord.
No. And she does write a poem. Did you see that poem about the 12 days of the presidential election or something like that?
No, I missed that
What?
one.
Oh yeah, she wrote a poem about that. I'll have to look through my notes to find it. But yeah, she writes a whole poem about the 12 days of election.
Was it any good?
I mean, it's not like a masterpiece or anything like that. I'll find it in a little bit. Okay, so we're going to another outbound message, 5/28/2021. So I just talked to my good friend Blank, and she said she talked to Blank about cellmate secrets, and Blank doesn't feel comfortable doing it. I'm really concerned about who they will get to do an interview with and how that affects my image. Does that peg a concern with you about how that might affect the book? I am stressing over it honestly. I mean, anyone can say anything without it even being true. That is what concerns me there. There are a lot of women in here who are jealous, petty, and want to drag my name through the mud. What are your thoughts? So it looks like she tried to get quite a few women to be in the documentary, and I don't remember who spoke for her.
Yeah. You know, and also coming up on page 85, when you get there, we see that she mentions the network trying to get permission to film at the Chiefs game when she gets out. So she was trying to merge every single bit of her life, trying to get women in prison to be in the documentary. She wanted to film at that Chiefs game, which is probably what screwed up her permission.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's probably why she ended up not going, because she thought she was too big. Okay. Let's see. Where was I at? Okay. Hold on. Sorry. I'm trying to.
Yeah, she wanted to get to that Chiefs game and meet Taylor Swift.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and she really, really did. Like we saw in the emails, and
Yeah.
it's in her first book too. She was a big plans.
And
That's what turned me.
Huh?
That's just what turned me.
Yeah, no, it definitely seemed odd to me at the time. But yeah, no, Taylor Swift actually did quite a good job totally avoiding that topic and never having to address it.
Right.
A lot of people were mad. They were mad for like 2 weeks, and then everyone's kind of just like, yeah, Taylor, you that was a smart one, just to avoid the topic altogether.
Yep. Okay, we've got it
anyway.
Yeah. We've got another inbound message, 5/28/2021. I'm not worried about cellmate secrets at all for you. Here's why. It's not a major show at all. It's a 1-hour episode and it will have aired before anything you've created, so that gives time for people to want to know more. If they say anything negative, it will just make people more curious about who you are. This is just really small time compared to the multi-hour documentary and podcast we are doing. The podcast will be 12 hours, ! So an hour a week that listeners will get to know you. Then there is a 6-hour visual documentary that will have other people explaining your abuse and circumstances. Then there's your book that will outline more of the abuse. Since your grandpa is alive, I can't share the sexual abuse via TV doc, only through book where I can change his name. It's a legal thing. Let any fears go on whatever they say, even if it's horrific and horrible. People are just interested in understanding who you are. And everyone knows we all have people who would tell another story about us. Viewers are smart and know this. Of course, not everyone likes you. They will think, of course, not everyone likes you. They will think, but that makes you real. It would be weird and abnormal to have everyone raving praises. They get that. I hope that gives you comfort. On the outside here, the show is on Lifetime, which would get maybe 800,000 to 1 million. Okay. An outbound message, 528. That does make me feel better. Thanks. Did blank mention if I was going to be this season or next? An outbound message, 6/4/2021. Okay, great. I'll call Tuesday. Also, I have to send you another visiting form because I was clearing out names on my list a while back, and I honestly didn't think you would be back to visit. So I send the form so you can send it into the prison again. Sorry about that. Who would have had thought back then that we would be working on a book together? LOL. Anywho, I would like to hear more about that little girl. They rejected the pics of the article. On a side note, I passed my math and now I'm done with high school education. Thank God, LOL. I'm signing up for college and a vocational class ASAP. I am also applying for a job doing photography again. I think I want to get a bachelor's in psychology. Lord help us all. That is what I'm leaning towards. I don't get to choose what my classes are at first. The program selects them and gives me what I'll be taking, and the whole thing would be done via my personal tablet. This is all very new to me. I never in my wildest dreams think I'd be deciding to enroll in college, and maybe I'm riding on the high of feeling accomplished, but I'm motivated. I passed every subject in the high set test with above minimum scores. This last exam I took, I needed a score of a minimum of 8 to pass. I scored a 12. In my worst subject, I'm pretty satisfied with that. So it just gives me that extra boost to know that just because I am at a disadvantage with having had no education, but the simple things to get someone by without seeming totally unable to function in life, that I can still catch up and make accomplishments just the same as someone who didn't grow up how I did. If there is one thing about me that I would say stands out in my personality, it's that I don't give up unless the odds are impossible. But if there is even a slight chance, I'm giving it everything I got and then some, and the more people doubt me. Okay. There's an inbound message, 6/1/21. I sent this morning a picture of a new case that mirrors yours. I want you to read it, then write a letter to that girl, knowing only her would read it. Just between you two, what would you say to this girl who suffered? She's only 6 years old. She didn't do anything wrong, yet was placed in the same situation. I want you to write a letter to her so that she knows she isn't alone. We can decide if it really goes to her or not and when, but it's a suggestion for the book. Wow. Okay.
That sounds really genuine.
Yeah. Okay.
Really
Inbound.
heartfelt there.
Yeah, right. 6/1/21. Sorry I missed your call. I was in an interview and couldn't answer. If I don't pick up, just know it's due to either being in a situation I can't or simply miss the call. Looking forward to talking to you soon. Okay, we're going to go a little. Hi, Gypsy. Just an FYI, I'm traveling to Austin, Texas for a conference today. I'm hoping you're free to call me Tuesday. I'll be free all day. Outbound from Gypsy 529. Today marks 20 years since that car crash that I spoke about was the reason I went into my grandfather's care. Strange how our brains can't recall what we did yesterday, but dates of events never fade. Today also marks 6 years since I was in a movie theater. The last time I saw with my mom in a theater was the San Andreas Fault, featuring The Rock. Okay. Inbound 5/29/21. Hope you have a fantastic Memorial weekend. Blank and I are just cleaning the house, getting ready for summer. I'll be heading to Austin, Texas next weekend for a conference, and then the following weekend I'm in LA for work. Then I'll be hopefully traveling to see you, depends on the approval system. I was thinking we should come up with a schedule for working on the book. Does Tuesday work? If I know you're calling that day, I can craft my day to be at home and writing. Do you get a barbecue or anything on Memorial Day weekend? Just curious if they have holidays like festivals. I'm going to be talking to your aunt tomorrow, Sunday, and I'd like to get what questions you have for your aunt blank. I won't be bringing up the abuse. I'm curious if she knows about your mom's abuse or if she was abused too. It seems very clear she doesn't care for blank. So I may need your support for her to film the documentary. She seems open about the book. Let me know how your power of attorney is going with your parents. Blank seems easier to reach to handle business affairs. I sent you some books that have been helpful for me in the past. I hope you will get something useful out of them too. Sending you well wishes. Okay. So I'm pretty sure this is all with Melissa Moore. Do you get that feeling?
Yeah, I do.
Definitely.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page.
Yeah, we're on the same page. I do have the dumbest observation ever, though.
Mhm.
If the last movie that I ever saw before going into prison was San Andreas with The Rock, I'd also still be pissed about it years later.
You're funny. Okay. Let's see. Outbound 6/7/21. I have a new job now, and it's actually my old job doing lead photography. I'm glad because I love that job so much. The job has a GED requirement, so until I graduated, I was unable to be rehired until now. It pays $15 a month. 1 week I'm scrubbing toilets for $7.50 a month, and the next I'm passing my GED and getting a better job and a better pay. Inbound 6/1/21. Blank, our co-writer, wanted to know about you starting your cycle or if the medication you were given stopped it. I know it sounds weird to ask. 6/16/21 outbound. I started at 13 when I had surgery on my neck. It stopped for 2 months. I don't know why. Outbound 6/8/21. So I talked to my friend Blank, and she is going to do Cellmate Secrets because I asked her to. She said they do want the juicy stuff, so instead of sharing really personal things that maybe I don't want to be put out there on that platform, she is going to tell all the funny, embarrassing shit we did as roommates. Like when I went through the breakup with Blank, I kept cutting off more and more of my hair. And this one time I was organizing her totes and threw away all of her magazines. To this day, it ruffles her feathers. LOL. It's better than someone who will talk trash on me. And I can't read the things that I can't read that one. Okay. Let's see. Outbound 6/9/21. I received some books, and I'm assuming these are the ones you sent. OMG, they are so helpful. Thanks. The one, why does he do that? I found very interesting. I had started dating someone after blank dumped me in October of 2019. It was a rebound relationship with someone who I thought was very comforting and supportive, but the end result was on the side of abusive. Let's just say he was in love with the idea of me rather than me. The relationship ended in January of this year. 6/9/21 outbound. It never fails. I just woke up from a bad nightmare. 6/16/21 outbound. Also, by the way, mom never let me use tampons or pads. I use goodnight pull-ups. 6/10/21 outbound. I'm sitting on my bed, bawling my eyes out. My hair is flipped to one side to hide my face from my other roommates because, like I said, no privacy. My bunkie blank asked me if I'm okay with a snort, with snot and tears. I told her that I just needed time to myself. She said she is here for me and let me be, which is best for now. Sorry, I had to cough. Okay. 6/10 outbound. I remember something that might be important in some way. It may not seem that hugely important, but it's something I remember. A few months before the crime, my mother bought a new vehicle, a Nissan Cube, as you may know. Cubes are small cars with little room, definitely not handicap accessible vehicles. One of my wheelchairs was a collapsible portable wheelchair with no big wheels for the person sitting in it to wheel themselves. I had to solely be pushed by my mother in this particular chair. Therefore, my motorized chair was no longer able to be used anywhere other than the house because the vehicle was too small. I always wondered about why they bought that vehicle.
Yeah.
It's not conducive to having a child in a wheelchair. So, and it was right before she died. Didn't she get it?
I think so.
Okay. Okay, 6/17 outbound. I want you to watch some of the videos that both Blank and Blank post on their YouTube channels. It's almost entertaining hearing how narcissistic both of them are. Murder by Design is a Blank channel, and True Crime with Blank is a channel. 4/15 outbound. Dear Blank, I am sorry to hear about your mother's passing. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. 5/18 inbound, and that's 2021. Hi, Gypsy. Thank you so much for the card. I got your letter yesterday, too. I've been digging into all the documentaries you've interviewed for, and I can see what you can do differently. What we can do differently. I think it's between... Let me start this over. Hi, Gypsy. Thank you so much for the card. I got your letter yesterday, too. I've been digging into all the documentaries you've interviewed for, and I can see what we can do differently. I think it's been massively glossed over how you were a hostage in your home, and your only way out would have been to have died. I'd like to explore, too, if your grandma used your mom in a similar way. I'm curious if this was a cycle. Anyway, so many questions for you. I'll send you a list of what I'd like to ask you before we hop off the phone so you know ahead of time. Okay.
So it sounds like that's where she got the narrative that her only way out, one of them had to die, because that's not at all what she was saying in emails to her and Rod back and forth.
Yep.
Before she got this from Melissa Moore. Before that, she was saying, Rod said directly to her, I wish that Dee Dee would have just let you date blank, and then maybe this would have never happened. There was no, you were a hostage in your mom's home, and the only way out is someone had to die. That's brand new, and it sounds like it comes straight out of Melissa Moore's brain to Gypsy's.
Wow. Yep. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I see that quite a bit in here.
She seems a little, I don't want to, I don't want to say that she has bad intent, but she definitely seems like she's trying to capitalize and doesn't really care about what's really going on to dig in, like, deeper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and especially when she came out and said that Gypsy had never eaten before until she got to prison. I mean, come
That was
on.
so dumb,
that's
like so
crazy.
easy to prove. Yeah.
Royal mashed potatoes.
Right? Yeah.
It's so ridiculous. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to find some more stuff in here. Gypsy does say on 7/27/21, I was wondering how long do you think it would be until the book is announced to the public? I guess I'm trying to piece a mental timeline together. And this is on page 78. Okay.
Melissa
Seven-
Moore probably come up with that statement. My mom was going to cut my throat too, because we don't see that anywhere.
Probably.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're
fired
fine.
up by that.
No, you're good. Chime in anytime. Okay, 7/31/21. This is an inbound. Wrapping up the book proposal now, but have some questions. I'll send in a snap. Then she says, oh, this is an outbound from 8/2/21. You're on my TV, LOL. Monster and my family on A&E. Okay. Okay, 8/30/21. Inbound. Hey, Gypsy, I have meetings with writers for today. I have meetings with writers today and then at noon for the edits on your doc. So let's move our conversation to Wednesday. Okay, so there's a lot of them going back and forth, trying to set up meetings on the phone. Let's see. 8/4/21 inbound. I'm so excited to catch up. It's crazy how they replay the Monster in My Family series all the time, and I recorded it way back in 2014. Oof. Okay.
Wait, 2014?
Yeah.
Oh, Melissa Moore.
Yeah.
I had a moment there.
No, you're good. Sometimes I read this and I'm like, wait, what? Okay, let's see. 5/9/21 inbound. This is fabulous. Love this update. I'd like to get some more recordings with you. Can we plan on July 27th? I'm filming with ABC next week, then heading to Africa for my vacation. So I'll be flying back July 26th. So I'm free 27th to resume recordings. In the meantime, the edits are being done on Sizzle for documentary, and the book outline proposal is being wrapped up. So first week of August, I believe everything will be out. Outbound 7/9/21. The 27th is my birthday, and I know my friends and mom want me to call them, and my roommates are throwing me a small party and meal. So can we maybe do recording on the 28th? Wow, Africa. Have so much fun. I'm sure it will be an amazing trip. I'm really excited to hear about the outline, about how the outline will look. I have nothing but trust everything will be great. Okay. Oh, I'm already tired.
Need a break?
Yeah, you want to pick up somewhere?
Where are you at? What page?
I'm on page 78, and so right underneath podcast, the watermark, it's 7/16, and it says "So this morning."
Gotcha. Just a second here. I was on another page looking at an interesting tidbit.
And later on, I still have a couple notes from yesterday. I would just have to come downstairs and try and actually read it, I guess, like on the actual microphone. But I have some stuff that kind of seems like it might be some flirtation and stuff, like when she might have been dating Ryan, but
Okay.
with somebody from like the UK.
Okay.
Yeah, there was someone from Italy too that was sending her money through Rachel Garlett, or I don't know if it through someone on the outside who had been in prison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's actually a person that she communicates with, and I don't know if you've seen this, millennial, or not, but The person lived in the US, and it looks like they got in trouble with the law, and then they ended up moving to Europe, and they were traveling all over Europe, and they were talking about how it was hard to find a job in the US with a record, but overseas they don't usually look at your record in the
Is
US.
that the person who said they were filming with Game of Thrones?
You know what? I did not see that.
Someone wrote her who claimed that they were filming with Game of Thrones, and that anybody can say that trying to impress, but Gypsy did meet real celebrities before and after prison, so it made me wonder.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, and this guy was going all over the world, but especially like to Greece. He spent a lot of time in Greece and England.
Yeah,
and
Jealous.
This one mentioned Greece and Ireland and stuff, so probably the same one.
Yep, probably is. Okay.
Okay, so this morning I was okay, let me tell what day this is. This is 7/16/2021. So this morning I was interviewed by the lead institutional investigator about a report made by Blank to the facility's main office. Blank made a report about my friend Blank posting TikTok videos about me, as well as Blank having a support group for me. I'm not sure what Blank's intention was behind this report. However, even the investigator said, judging by the email Blank sent, he could tell that Blank is not my biggest fan, as he worded it, and said Blank clearly doesn't have my best interest, which I therefore explained to him that Blank and Blank and Blank have a YouTube channel, and all they do is talk shit. All they do is try and insert themselves where they have no business being. Those are the women trying to exploit me and cause me issues. I asked him if my friend posting about me violates any rules, and he said absolutely not. Blank can post anything she wants. As long as I give Blank my permission to share pictures, emails, and give updates about how I am doing, she is absolutely able to do so without any negative repercussion on her. Okay, the next couple of emails are kind of boring. They're just about COVID, blah, blah, blah. Okay, here's one. This one is outbound from Gypsy on 6/16/2021. Moreover, on the topic of Blank, I think it's important to mention that the fame caused his relapse to drugs, and consequently the breakup led to mine as well. I was using drugs soon after the breakup, and he had secretly been using drugs a few months before and after the split. Neither one of us knew of each other's relapse. It was the pressure of the media that he had started using opioids, and he grew distant and cold to me. He ended the 2-year relationship, claiming it was in the best interest of both of us that we separate. He claimed he needed to figure things out in his life, and he was afraid to be in a negative role in my life. I was left heartbroken, and I went down a bad path of drug use and depression. I told Blank I was going to talk about him in my book, and he is okay with that. I told him I wasn't going to trash talk him and that the facts would be laid out. And I think people would understand that he isn't a bad guy in this story and see that it was yet again a tragic event for me. I want people to understand him to be someone who came into my life with the best of intentions and was a support for me. And unfortunately, the negative that the media brought into my life had completely tainted the relationship. To this day, Blank and I still have a mutual love for each other, and I would never say anything untrue and unfair about him. He is always someone I consider to be a blessing to have shared the bond we had together. Even though we are living our lives apart, we still talk about spending time together when I'm finally home. As recent as last week, we spoke on the phone and we agree love is still there. However, we agree to let our lives either come back together naturally when I'm home, or we would be happy for each other even if we find other people to have a relationship with. I'll always love him and I want him to be happy. These emails about the true crime groups, have we already read those, or?
I don't think we have.
Let's hear it. I don't remember.
Okay. This is outbound from Gypsy on 6/17/2021. YouTube channel, True Crime with Blank Blank. Blank Blank is a member of the Blank Murder Facebook discussion group. She is around 40 or 45 years old. She claims to know every detail about the case due to her one time being Facebook friends with Blank, and Blank Blank leaked crime scene photos to Blank, and Blank posted them all over social media. Blank claims she has spoken with Blank, neighbors, and Blank Blank. She makes slandered assumptions on her YouTube channel that I used to sneak out and have sex with multiple men. Absolutely not true. She also claims that one of the many men I supposedly slept with went into the house after the murder to lock the back door. Also not true. This woman knows only what the public knows and what is in documentaries. She is obsessed with my case and has harassed me, blank, blank, his mother, sister, blank, and dad. She called blank prison and got him in trouble, and she tries to find a reason to get me in trouble, but so far she hasn't been successful. Blank and blank often clash heads because they are rivals to each other and both take social media claiming to be the best expert on the blank murder case.
So
that's
not trying to
Natasha
be
Cooper.
shady. Yeah, I was gonna say it's Natasha Cooper and Fancy then.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like to me.
Ugh.
Okay. Outgoing from Gypsy 6/23/2021. I think the interview went great. I'm back in my room and I'm decompressing. You did a wonderful job as an interviewer. This was my first time back doing interviews since E! News interview about my former engagement, and I haven't done anything on camera in so long that I was fearful I would not phrase things, she spelled it phase,
Mhm.
as eloquently as I normally would. That one question about my sentence is hard to answer. That question, and how did I feel manipulated? Oops, sorry, I had a pop-up. How did I feel manipulated? I manipulated blank. Those are questions that I struggle to answer because for 6 years, people have told me their opinions and I struggle to find my own opinion. But minus the difficulty trying to decide how to answer those two questions that are a big topic of debate to everyone, I hope, and then the last sentence is cut off.
Mhm.
I think that might be one of the truest things that she's ever said is I struggle to find my own opinion because she just it's almost like the last person who spoke to her, that's what she thinks now.
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree.
Okay. Okay, Melissa Moore, blah blah blah. It looks boring.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Inbound to Gypsy 6/24/2021. I don't know who this is from exactly. Maybe it's Melissa Moore, maybe not. You did a fabulous job. Everyone was impressed with you. I haven't slept well for a few days. Yesterday, after I left you, I opened my phone to find out that my former stepdad. Should we read that? It's someone else's restraining order. I mean, I guess it's going to be out there, but
Yeah.
If you have to question it, I don't know.
Yeah, let's just go down.
I'm just going to skip that. Okay. Outbound from Gypsy 6/24/2021. I reached out to Blank to ask if he would be interested in speaking with you for the book, and he declined. He is still so guarded about the media, but I did tell him he would be mentioned in the book, and he is fine with it as long as his last name isn't revealed. I also reached out to a woman by the name of Blank. She was working at the hospital and became friends with my mother when we arrived in Missouri after the hurricane. I'm not sure if he wanted to get her perspectives, but I gave her that option to reach out to you. This is her number.
I think I remember that woman in the documentary.
Interesting. 6/26/2021, outbound from Gypsy. Blank blank out that blank blank lied to everyone, claiming she gets out in 2 years after being sentenced to life without parole, which is a relief for me because at least I know that I won't have to worry about this one causing issues for me after I'm released.
So maybe that was the person that she was talking about earlier, and I said maybe it was Sandra Hemme because we couldn't figure out
Yeah.
if the person had actually been released or not.
Yep. Sounds like it.
Because it was the only two that got released, within 2024, I think, was Sandra Hemme and Patty Pruitt. And I think Patty Pruitt was released from Vandalia, if I remember correctly.
Gotcha. Well, these next three are pretty interesting. 6/26/2021, outbound from Gypsy. I am sure Blank has been blown back with some of the outlandish false conspiracy theories that both Blank and Blank Blank has put out there on social media. So for the last few years, these two women have been obsessed with my case. Another woman you need to be aware of is, if I haven't already mentioned her, Blank, and then she gives the last name. She went to high school with my mother and was friends with my mother until they parted ways after high school. Blank was hired on to Blank Wannabe Project by proxy as the medical expert on the project. Keep in mind, Blank has no experience in the entertainment industry. So anyway, back in 2018 and 2019, Blank had me sign over my medical records for the project, and now Blank refuses to give my records back. After I split from being involved in by proxy, Blank stayed on the project to work with Blank. Then after the two of them make videos, YouTube videos, mostly talking shit about me and my parents. And in December of last year, Blank made claims she with Blank would attend my parole hearing to object to my parole and advocate for me to go to a mental institution instead. Blank and I haven't spoken in a few months, and as I begin to see she was manipulating me in an attempt to turn me against my father and Blank. Outbound from Gypsy, 6/27/21. Blank, I'm having a lot of anxiety right now. I just had a friend let me listen to a small bit of the latest video from Blank and Blank on their YouTube channel. Blank is sending threats to me and claims she is in fact writing to the parole board to do everything she can to keep me in prison or committed to a mental facility. Outbound from Gypsy, 6/28/2021. I'm starting to feel like Blank and Blank are re-victimizing me with their YouTube channel. All I have ever done to these women is stand up for myself. I have never once threatened to harm them. The worst thing I ever did to Blank is call her a cunt after she basically took over my life in 2019. Poor choice of language, yes. Threatening, no. I don't think it is against the law to argue opinions, and that's all I've ever done. That all three women, Blank, Blank, and Blank, hate is that I don't continue to let anyone make me a victim again. I have a voice, and I'll stand up for myself if no one will. Outbound from Gypsy, 6/28/2021. I was wondering if I can get a copy of the NDA, even if it's a picture of it, so I can remember it. LOL. 6/29.
I wonder if that's the NDA that she signed with Fancy.
I wonder too. 6/29/2021. I'm about to get a few visits in the future. A few of my friends, this is outbound from Gypsy. A few of my friends who are not as a result of meeting them in jail prison are coming to visit throughout the next few months. Also, I have a friend who is interested in visiting me from Italy. Unfortunately, the quarantine process is difficult as a 7-day quarantine is required. 7 days in a hotel is expensive, not including the actual travel costs. Besides, right now, the prison is not allowing extra visiting time with inmates for special circumstances because of COVID restrictions. 6/30/2021, outbound from Gypsy. Thank you. It does help clear my mind. Their videos count for 90% of the stress in my life because I know they are putting my name out there to make me look like a non-functional psycho. And because of my past communication with these women, it gives them more credit to claim they know my personality. Honestly, what they are doing may be free speech, but it's also mild cyberbullying. I never thought anything legal could be done because of free speech. It's easy for me to ignore because I'm not on social media, so it's out of sight, out of mind. But they target my friends and family who have social media and can't really avoid it when it's right in front of their faces. I will say that my friends and family who have to have a tough skin to ride close with me because it is people like Blank and Blank and Blank who feel it's okay to throw personal attacks at the people who stand by me. Friendships do get tested to the max because there's always people who will try and talk shit on me and them, and it can either make or break a friendship. I've had friends who fell off of other people bullying them for the simple fact that they were friends with me. And I have friends who have been through hell and back with me for that reason. Anyways, yes, if you can figure out anything that can be done legally, that would be great. I figure Studio 6 might want something legally done because seeing as how Blank is trying to use my story to make a TV drama or book of her own, can something be done to prevent her from capitalizing on my story, brand, image because of our cooperation with a partnered company?
Well, if there's one thing Gypsy has right is Fancy most certainly is a cyberbully. Aside from that, though,
she bullies her own followers.
Yeah, no shit. But something else that stood out to me, and I think it was from a couple messages ago, but I didn't want to completely gloss over it. So basically, it sounded like she was saying that somebody forced her to give over her medical records to Fancy, and I'm assuming that's probably Christy. And she literally
Mhm.
like says forced, I think was the word that she used, and I honestly don't doubt that.
Mhm.
It sounds like she
Yeah,
didn't really have much of a choice.
the way that we've read emails from Christy and Rod pushing her to work with Fancy over and over, I can see her feeling forced.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
this
can
is
see.
somewhere where I definitely empathize a little bit because it really doesn't seem like it's something that she had any interest in from the get-go. And I would definitely believe that she was kind of pressured into that, like I said, from other emails and this. That's really shitty, especially the medical record side of it. It's not even just like publicly available information.
Yeah.
Medical
Yeah.
records are incredibly personal to you.
Yeah, those can't be FOIA'd or sunshine lawed. Like
Mhm.
Fancy just got those and refused to let go.
Mhm.
And sells them on Patreon.
Yep.
Okay.
Um,
Do we want to keep going down this vein, or do you guys want to look at other stuff?
I have some screenshots of some interesting things. Gypsy does say here on down a little bit, she's telling someone, tell her to show y'all my paintings. Pictures from while in prison, not just ones before prison. Huh.
Yeah, she was painting in prison, drawing.
Yeah. She says, I spoke to Blank an hour ago and she is sending me the obituary.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's about it. We can start going to the things that we have screenshotted if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, let me go here just a sec. Okay, so we talked about her trying to get permission to film at the Chiefs game. The December 29th. Me, Blank, and Blank are all having a girls' day in Kansas City where we will go to a salon called Belle Epoque, named in the top 100 salons in the country, so I can get my hair done, then go shopping for a dress to wear because that night Blank and I will go on our very first real date. The plan is while us girls are getting all pretty, Blank, Dad, and Blank will go do something and then that they want to do, and Blank won't even see me until the night he picks me up for our dinner date. It would be very romantic, and honestly, after 3 years of only ever seeing Khaki, I want to show him what he really married. December 31st, New Year's Eve, and Chiefs game. I was rethinking what you said about upgrading our seats. On second thought, maybe a box would be beneficial if the network can get permission to film at the Chiefs game. Do you think it can be possible to have our seats upgraded to a box seat? Because we'll have the film crew there, and I'm sure that will be far less troublesome to others if we were in a box seat rather than in the open.
Far
Yeah,
less troublesome to others for me to get a box seat for free.
Yep.
Unlimited
And I
drinks
also,
too, just from just for the convenience of everyone else.
mhm.
oh yeah. Let's see. I also noted that on page 152, she says that she frequently misses her old life before the murder. I can't find that offhand though. She's got really big emails on that page, so we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, some of these emails are so stinking long. I don't even have the energy to read them.
Oh my God. On 161, she is mad at Christy. These are emails, I believe, between her and Kian. She's mad at Christy and okay, here it is. 12/7/2018. I've decided on a course of action. 1, I'll let you send Blank that text, and I think you should take yourself out of the group as well as unfriend her on Facebook. 2, I will call Blank and tell her my disapproval of the show. 3, if I don't hear the words show canceled, I'm messaging my father. 4, if all else fails, I fight fire with fire and contact the media and shit's gonna get real. Headline, stepmother of Gypsy Blanchard exploits stepdaughter. One way or another, this will end.
Wow. Sorry, I kind of took over as my mother briefly, it seems.
Oh, no problem.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, those are the parts I had noted.
Sorry, I accidentally smacked my
microphone into my face. Yeah, no, I only got to hear part of that, unfortunately, but the stuff that I did hear was pretty crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, no, some of this stuff, man, I don't know how she never thought that any of this stuff would ever get out because I don't know, I feel like it's just common knowledge that especially if you have like a really well-known case,
Yeah.
you're gonna have people inquiring and requesting
Freedom of Information Acts are a real thing.
things. Yeah. Is there anything else on that?
Sunshine laws too.
Is there anything else on that page? Since I'm down here now, there was something that I had been looking at the other day. Let's see.
Oh, I found one more interesting thing that is brand new. Just a second here.
Yes, let's hear it.
So you know how it was kind of strange how Gypsy completely changed her tune on the act? Like she was mad about it when she was in prison, talking about how she didn't get any money for it and stuff.
Yes.
So I'm trying to find. Oh, I can't find the page. Someone from the act contacted her and set up a trust fund for it. That's why she changed her tune. She did get some money
Really?
from the act.
Really? But then she started talking shit again when she got out of prison, correct?
No, she was pretty good about it compared to what she was saying while she was in prison.
Same before. Gotcha.
Another thing I found out, y'all, it's on page 262. Gypsy got a stimulus check in prison
Really?
in 2021. Yeah, let me go there. And I Googled that. And yeah, apparently when Congress and President Biden passed the stimulus, they didn't exclude prisoners.
Oh, well, that's sweet. Did they get the same amount that we did?
Apparently so. What a waste of money, right?
In some ways, actually,
For canteen, for murders?
yeah, you're right. For canteen, I'm very.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. Yeah.
I feel like they should get a lot of the same rights, but yeah, I mean, since there's not really that much that they can really even invest in down there.
Yeah.
You know.
So this is page 262. Oh, I'm sorry, Laura.
No, that's all I have to say. It's odd.
April 28th, 2021, outbound from Gypsy. Hello, blank. Thank you for writing me. I'm doing well. It has been a short 6 years. However, I probably aged just as much. I've been able to gain some maturity over the time I've been incarcerated, learning through trial and error. That's life. I have been able to find myself and really figure out what I want from life going forward. Smiley face. No, I do not need any money. No, not for the reasons you think, though. I actually have never been paid for doing the shows and interviews. Lies. Anyway, sorry, broke in there. My father has been supporting my needs in prison for the last 6 years, along with a bunch of other people. And last week, I just received my stimulus checks, smiley face. And if you knew me well, you would know that even if offered, I don't accept anything from anyone. I try to be humble about what I have.
Wow, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, there's a lot there to be annoyed by. First off, that she got a stimulus check. Second, like just all the lies. She's not humble about what she has. She demands money from her loyal servant, Pay Pig, and you have to walk away from your goddess. And
well,
so many lies.
Yeah, something I've always been told is if you have to tell people how humble you are,
you're not.
Proves your point. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So I was looking the other day, and like I said earlier, before I came back down here, there's some stuff that I feel like might have some overlap with Ryan. So the messages start on 7/26/2021, and there's a couple messages sprinkled in here from 8/05/2021. Like I said, some of them are kind of out of order every once in a while. There might even be a 7/3 in there. Anyway, but if I remember correctly, I feel like somebody told me that Ryan and Gypsy got together in the summer of 2021. Is that correct?
I'm not totally sure because I see your story kind of changing in the emails. They started talking 2020. I saw her say she was dating her best friend in 2021, but then also in like late 2021, almost 2022, I saw her say, I'm considering dating a guy who's been my best friend for 2 years,
Okay.
like Ryan. So I can't tell.
So this might not be romantic overlap with Ryan, but it definitely sounds like it's overlap just in the conversations that she might have been having with him, might have been having with this person. Okay, so like I said, this is going to be a little out of order, but I'm going to try and get you guys the gist of it. Inbound. Happy birthday, beautiful. Have a lovely day. You're special, beautiful inside and out, girl. Wish I could give you a big cuddle on your birthday. Hope you're doing okay. You're my thoughts tomorrow, and I hope that you have a good birthday. Lots of love. XXXXX. And then inbound. I'm thrilled to hear you're doing well. Miss you as always. Sorry, I have to skip around a little bit for this to make any sense. And then outbound. What are all of those X's? Muscles? I just got that email. The emails were hella slow last week. And I can't really find. Oh, okay, here we go. Inbound. They're kisses, of course. Haha. XXXX. And then outbound. It's probably a good thing that you're across the pond. My sex drive and your muscles could be a wild combination. LOL. Inbound. I hope that you're okay and that the isolation days go quick for you. Miss you lots and thoughts always with you. XXX hugs. Outbound. Oh, well, I'm flattered. Blushes. And then about 1,000 X's. Again, these are probably a little out of order. Outbound. Sorry about that email. I was feeling a little frisky yesterday, if you know what I mean. LOL. Inbound. Haha, I love it. Sounds like a great combination. Better keep up my muscles. Ha ha ha. Inbound. Miss you millions. Hoping that you're okay. Hugs and kisses. XXXXX. Outbound. Well, at least I know that I didn't offend you by sending that hella horny email, LOL, on the low. I'll be sad when you get a girlfriend. Inbound. Ha ha ha, it's okay. We all get like that, and it must be frustrating for you to not be able to release all of that energy. I don't mind. Don't worry. Winky face. XXXXX. Inbound. Ha ha ha. I don't think I want a girlfriend for another couple of years. So until then, you can say what you want. Whatever makes you happy. Ha ha ha. XXX.
Can you remind us, Laura, the date on these again?
Sorry.
You muted me instead of yourself. Sorry. Yes. So this is between 7/26 and 7/28. So this is right around her birthday. Her birthday, I think, is the 27th, and I think he wished her a happy birthday on the 26th. So
2021.
2021. Yes. I'm so sorry.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, I went from not being able to hear myself to being able to hear myself really well. So it just kind of
You were muted
I was muted
the whole time. But they could hear you still.
Okay. Sorry about the volume on that sucking. Okay. I guess you just picked up my loud voice from my mom. Okay. Where was I at? Okay. Inbound. Haha, it's okay. We all get like that. It must be really frustrating for you not being able to release all their energy. I don't mind. Don't worry. XXXX. Inbound. Haha, I don't think I want a girlfriend for another couple of years. So until then, you can say what you want. Whatever makes you happy. Haha, XXX. Outbound. I'm doing all right. I'm in my emotions, though. Inbound. Oi, save. What is that? I don't know. Oi. Stop muting me. Oh my goodness.
Oy vey.
Oy vey. Oh, that's oy vey?
I guess.
Anyway, how are you doing? Inbound. Plus, it's always amazing to receive compliments from beautiful girls like yourself. Smiley face. Hope you're doing okay. Hope isolation is finished or nearly finished. Miss your voice. XXXX. Inbound. So I hear you're out of quarantine. Woohoo. Inbound. Gypsy, the group says you may have COVID. Praying for you to be okay. You poor thing. I hope you have no serious symptoms. You're in my thoughts as always, and I miss your sweet voice. The support for you is so amazing. Love you millions. Let me know that you're okay when you have the chance. Hugs and kisses. Muscles. XXXXX. Outbound. Move out to a place of your own. Ooh, I'd be able to send you real mail then and come to visit when I get out. Outbound. Since you're broad, you could probably swing me around pretty easy. Outbound. I really care about you too, Muscles. XOXOXO. Inbound. Aw, Gypsy, your friend put up pictures of you at his visit. You're such a beautiful girl. Made me very happy, but a little sad because it made me miss you even more. I hope you're okay. I'm worried about you. You're in my thoughts. Lots of love, hugs, and kisses. Muscles. XXXXX. Outbound. I'm asymptomatic, so I don't feel sick. I have 13 more days in isolation. I miss you, Muscles. When I'm out of isolation, I'll call you. XOXOXO hugs. Outbound. Dear Muscles, I am fine. Don't be worried. I'm actually feeling better. My headache is gone, and I'm just ready to get moved out of quarantine and back in my old room. Yeah, Blank was shy to put them up, but he did. My other friend Blank should be driving up if her visiting application is approved in time for the 6th. Blank is my goth girl pal, LOL. We'll take pics when she comes to visit. Outbound. I feel sad. It's just one of those nights. I'll be fine, though. I get emotional when I'm about to have that time of the month. So how have things been for you? Any new adventures? And then it looks like the rest of it's kind of boring, but I just thought some of that was funny. Lots of XXXs. Holy shit, that's got to be like 1,000 X's. Her thumb must have gotten a little tired doing that. Oh, what is that? It's not. Oh, I thought that said porn. Never mind. It doesn't. Never mind. We're all good. But yeah, that was some of the stuff that I had from left over from yesterday. I haven't gotten to look through anything because I just got off of work.
You know, sorry.
Oh, I do have another one where Gypsy tries to pawn off, I don't know if it's a pay pig or a pen pal on another prisoner. Okay. Yo, hold up. No, it's 1089.
Oh.
Yeah, it's down there.
No.
Yeah.
We don't have 1,089 pages. We have wait.
Yes,
Yeah, we
have
do.
1,090 pages,
Yeah,
so it's
hold on.
almost at the end. Yeah, 1089. You got it? There we go. Okay, let me see if I can find it real quick. Oh, also on this page, I'm not going to read it out, but the first few words is, "Hi, my name is blank and I am 10." So just so you know, and this person, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. I think it's a girl because she says something about how she needs advice for her boyfriend. But regardless, she gives Gypsy her phone number, which is so concerning that there's somebody out there letting their 10-year-old write a prisoner and give them their phone number.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of minors contacting Gypsy Rose.
Mm-hmm.
But I never saw anyone that was 10. That is like crazy.
Yep.
Well, Melissa Moore, somebody wanted her to reach out to a 6-year-old.
Oh my Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on. Where is this? It was juicy. Sorry, I'm not trying to leave y'all with dead air over here.
You know, on 256, I saw something where Gypsy was telling somebody that Christy talks to, I'm assuming, Shanann Watt's sister. Because it says blank Watt's sister.
I remember her outing that at some point, and everybody was like, "What?" Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I can't tell. There's a bunch of random emails that look like they might be from different people that are above this message, but this is an outbound message from Gypsy. Hi, Blank. I'm so glad that you are Blank's new friend. She and I are really close, and tonight is the last time I'll see her until 2031, which is when the prison will let me come back to visit, or if or when she gets paroled.
Pardoned.
Or I'm sorry, pardoned. BTW, I don't mean to be rude in asking, but are you bisexual? Blank is single, and I'm trying to help her find a good girlfriend, or maybe even just someone on the lines of romance. But it kind of cuts off a little bit. But then it says, we'll just throwing it out there, LOL. And then inbound, it seems to be in response to that. Hey girl, hey Gypsy, I'm bisexual, but currently in a rough situation. My grandma has Munchausen by proxy, and I had to move in with a really shitty guy to get away from her. He's not the nicest, and he's done some pretty bad stuff to me. I vent to Blank about it a lot. I'll be free in March when my best friend gets back to Kansas City from Virginia and we get our own apartment. I plan on telling Blank how I feel then because I don't ever want to confuse or upset her, but I definitely love her very much. I'll be going to visit her next month, and I'm so nervous and excited. Sorry, I've been bothering you and Blank about Blank over the holidays. Like I said, I love her very much and I was worried. As I thought, she was just as worried about bothering me, but I hate that she felt that way because I honestly sit around my phone all day waiting for her to call, and then it cuts off the rest. And then outbound. Whoa, chill girl. No, Blank didn't ask me to say anything. I'm just trying to play matchmaker and I know she's digging you. So I asked if you're even bi for my own peace of mind. Relax. I won't tell her how you feel. Inbound. This might be out of order, but regardless. That makes me so happy because I've been so nervous. Thank you. I'd love to keep in contact when you get out. I'm on Facebook all the time. I can keep you updated on me and Blank too. He. I just feel like she deserves better than waiting for me to get out of a shitty situation. So I'm waiting until there's no I can't really see what it says. But yeah. And then outbound. I totally get it. Aw, well, she told me that she feels like you are too good to be true. I know she feels the same, but she has been hurt by others and is just kind of guarded, if you know what I mean. And then inbound. Gypsy, I'm curious. Did Blank put you up to this? I'm nervous to tell her how I feel because I feel like she wouldn't like me. Did she say something to you? So I guess that's what she said before Gypsy started acting defensive and was like, no, I didn't say that. I don't know if the rest of this really matters that much, but I saw that and I thought that the way that she reacted to that girl was kind of odd. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's weird that she wants to play matchmaker so bad anyway. Why does she always have to be telling people what to do? Even from prison. Like, she's preaching, she's teaching, she's got to play matchmaker. What?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
like, you don't have experience to do any of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like she really wasn't sheltered.
Yeah.
Very odd.
Very strange.
Very odd.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have anything else you want to look at? Because there's lots of stuff in here. It's just a matter of
getting through it. Yeah, because
Yeah.
there's so much boring crap, but that we have to just dig and find the good stuff that y'all are actually interested in. A lot of copy and paste responses that she sent to all the normal people.
I can't remember. Yesterday, did I read out something where Gypsy tells somebody that she's married, and then in the same sentence says that she has boobs and ass for days?
Yeah.
Okay. Boobs and ass for days, and so many messages to random men. Not even like her main guys, just like random people. Like, yeah, I have boobs and ass for days. Congratulations, ma'am. I don't, but
Okay. I'm looking for a reference to the hex jar because I saw it on page 84. I'm just trying to find it. And I want to go dig up that stinking jar.
yeah, good luck. Don't bother that old lady that lives
I'm not going to her house. But I got a metal detector if anybody wants it.
I can't imagine. You know, they'll sell a lot of different houses for like extra cheap because an atrocity was committed there. And so, one, I hope the lady that lives there got a good deal. But two, I don't know how the hell you could live somewhere where something like that happened. I couldn't personally, but everyone's different.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if it made the difference between being able to afford a house and not being able to afford a house, I respect it.
Okay.
Stayed overnight and murder Airbnbs where things happen because the places are, I don't search them out. It's just I search out historic places. And sometimes when a place is 200 years old, some murders happen there.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything weird with staying in an Airbnb, perhaps, but I just
living there all the whole time would
be weird.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like I could do like a spooky night doing something silly, but or well, I say something silly when someone's murdered there. That's not oopsie. That was bad. That was insensitive. I just meant like ghost tours and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm just gonna shut up now. I'm not doing myself any favors.
Okay. I'm going to read this outbound message. It's on page 84 and it is 3/15/23. I think this is the one. Hi, blank. Blank read the book proposal to me, and what I found is, without trying to be insulting, that the overall framework of words was bare boned. It reminded me of listening to Forrest Gump and made me cringe. It was your very basic wording. I often use more intellectual words. For example, instead of saying people said my mom poisoned my step-grandma blank, I would have said it was speculated that my mother had poisoned my step-grandmother blank with Roundup. Blank also uses mom, and I actually rarely call my mother mom. What? Oh, probably now. Okay. I refer to her as mother because I now call blank mom. Also, there were consistent repetitive words and words that should have used commas where the repetitive ands were placed.
It's bold of her to be asking people to use commas when we've been going through these things, struggling through the trenches, trying to figure out what she's saying, sounding like idiots. Sorry. My bad.
The story read very factual, however, lacked emotion, texture, and immersion, and to a degree, intelligence. One thing everyone comments on, even when living with my mother, is how artificial I am with, how articulate I am with words, and that did not translate the way this reads. Notes. Number 1. My mother did not work at the hospital after I was born. She took a job at a bar called PJ's when I was a toddler age, and later took jobs such as photo restoration on her computer. Number 2. It reads more than once that I had no participation in Mommy, Dead, and Dearest, but I did participate in the HBO documentary Mommy, Dead, and Dearest. However, I did not have financial compensation, and it was not a docuseries, it was a single documentary. Number 3, in the beginning it read, my childhood was great, but then I got sick. Then the next paragraph reads, I had X amount of surgical procedures at 11 months old. It is contradictory to the beginning paragraph. From birth, my mother claimed I was sick. However, as a child, I at least was allowed to be more social with my mother's side and have some good memories as a child. I would not say great, though. Number 4, Blank and I did not mutually break up. He left me devastatingly heartbroken. I want readers to feel the strength of the pain that I felt. After all I had gone through, I thought I had been through it to get to this person who would love me, and he let me down just like everyone else in my life. Blank jotted down other notes of errors in grammar and proper English, and pretty much the same notes. For a proposal, it's okay, but I do not want Blank to write the manuscript. I just can't see a whole book of this shit. It is all facts and no heart. Nothing tugged at me to make me feel anything but bored and depressed. Okay, so that didn't have the jar, but holy cow, she thinks she's it.
I see something on the very bottom of this page I need to point out. So it was sent outbound on 3/12/2023. It says, I am giving power of attorney to blank to handle financial business and be able to sign in my place, beginning March 15th and ending December 28th. Did anyone ever know that somebody else had a power of attorney over her? I'm assuming it's probably Christy, maybe Rod, but probably
I'm
Christy.
thinking it's Ryan.
Ryan.
Oh, yeah, duh. She was married. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that Ryan or
He probably had to sign contracts.
I just found that interesting. I just didn't know if anybody knew about that and if it mattered. So
I'm not sure. You never know.
So
Yeah.
it's out there if that means anything to anybody. I just saw it and I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm still trying to find that hex jar. Did
I
we
don't
read?
know.
Did we read this one? We didn't read this one, did we?
I don't think so.
Okay, on page 84 still, 3/31/23. Letter to blank copy. Here is what I sent to blank to read to you to get your notes on. Hi, blank and blank. Thank you for sending the proposal. I had forwarded it immediately to Gypsy before my own review of it and got a quick response from her that same day. She was deeply offended. During my own review, I dissected the proposal to understand why she had such a negative reaction. First, it mainly was due to the lack of her own voice missing in the proposal. While the writing is factual, it lacks her tone and reduces her vocabulary to an elementary grade level. Interesting. We assume the lack of voice comes from her interviews not being directly pulled from and injected into the writing. Second, to voice. There aren't any emotional moments we enter into through the writing. There is a play-by-play of timeline events. Again, factual, just not taking the opportunity to have us experience a moment in time that Gypsy lived through, so we know what she felt. The sample chapter is where this really could have shined. For example, there is a memory Gypsy has of sleeping over at her cousin's home as a child, and she is jumping on the bed when her aunt walks in. Immediately, she drops to the bed in tremendous fear and freezing, knowing she was caught using her legs. Now, being caught, hell will be paid when her mother discovers her lapse in the act. There are many memories Gypsy has of the transition of being healthy while her mother starts to train her to be sick that could be used for the sample chapter. Instead, it opens with facts lined up of her date of birth and nickname, nothing an editor couldn't Google. The sample chapter is a chance to show that this book truly has never before heard stories that only she could tell. Third, and least of the issues, the overview isn't in first person. Here is an opportunity to address the fact that while there are many documentaries and even a TV scripted series, none of them tell her true story. Her story has been adapted and stolen, something along the lines of, while millions of people watched the act, I sat in my prison cell with no access to Hulu. To this day, I haven't been able to watch the series. People were watching a show starring me I had no involvement in. People now are thinking they know me, but they don't know point 1, point 2, point 3. This could also be an open letter to the editor stating what people don't know or the mistruths people have of her. Now, having addressed all the concerns, we feel it needs a complete rewrite to add her voice and write a sample chapter. That takes us into a moment of her life. I can send all of our notes of changes, but at this point, Gypsy has lost faith. I propose we all cut our losses and end this agreement here. Best.
That's kind of funny considering the books came out and yeah, I think it sounds like they wanted to do like a factual documentary type book
Mm-hmm.
and Gypsy wanted a Maya Angelou type memoir.
Yeah, I agree.
She wanted to be a caged bluebird.
Why the cage bird sings.
Yes, why the caged bluebird sings.
Very interesting. Have you noticed that in her older emails, she seems a lot more like normal or like
Yes.
not deflecting as much on like different stories of abuse and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then right before she gets out, her stories kind of change to everything being like super traumatic. And in the beginning, she kind of seems like, okay, I'm just in prison. I'm just doing my thing. And I mean, I know feelings can change again to play devil's advocate, but I noticed that.
Yeah.
It seems like when Melissa Moore came around is when she
Yeah.
started changing from talking like a person in prison with accountability who was, up to some normal shit.
Shenanigans.
But like after around 2021 to me is where I see a big difference that, ends up with her literally pigging grandparents.
Yep.
Yeah. And I don't think the pay pig thing is very weird for somebody in prison. But again, the fact that she got parole and they didn't look at any of that, especially since it relates to her crime, I do think that's weird.
Well, I have a little bit of insight into the parole board here in Missouri.
Yeah.
Shelley's friend was a representative and for many years, and he was in charge of the parole board for 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
And until Shelley, my cousin, if anybody's listening and they don't know, my cousin is incarcerated in Chillicothe for 25 years for 5 ounces of meth. And and she's also Hispanic, so they tried the race card with her. So
saying she was connected to the cartel.
Yeah.
When she's definitely not connected to the cartel.
Yeah. So until Shelley actually went to prison, so this guy actually knew her really well. They worked together on projects and stuff like that. So until Shelley went to prison, mind you, this man had been in charge of the parole board for 14 years. Until he went there, he had no idea what the parole board was.
Really?
Yeah. He has learned so much through Shelley. And if you go look at the parole board in Missouri and look at all the people on the parole board, you will be quite upset. So
it's a bunch of people that don't give a shit about
they know
anything.
nothing. They know nothing about the prison system. They don't. Yeah. Shelley can come on here and talk about it, about what he has found out since she's been incarcerated.
Yeah,
but
we'll
it's quite sad
because we don't know
Yeah.
what we're supposed to say. And not supposed to say. But that being said, yeah, as you can tell, things are weird. And again, that's why I have a problem with the pay pig thing, because it shows again a similar dynamic as to some of the things she was accused of in her crime, and then her getting paroled like a few months later. I do find that a little odd, but again.
There
Just
was
having to take a prison. I'm unbothered personally.
There was an email that I found. I don't know where it is right at the moment, where she emailed, I think it was Rod, and said that she just learned that they can't max her because she's a first-time offender. And and I think this was in 2021. And she says that even if clemency and early parole get denied, the longest they can keep me is December 28th, 2023.
Oh, wow.
So they didn't let her out early. They kept her in as long as possible according to the law and the sentence she was given.
Wow. I didn't even realize that.
She was denied clemency in 2021. She applied for it. And there was petitions, and they denied her, and she was denied I can't remember. I was looking through the DOC file. There was something else she was denied. But yeah, they kept her in the max that they could for the sentence she was given for a first-time offender.
Yeah, the 85%.
Right.
Yeah. Also, I want to throw this out here. I saw this comment, Cherokee girl. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'm not trying to speculate people's bedroom life, but I can't stress enough that BDSM isn't even necessarily the problem here. The problem here is unhealthy dynamics and a crazy person. Like it's not. It has nothing to do with like that community as a whole. Like it's literally
none of us have a problem with BDSM.
Yeah, it's not BDSM that's the problem. Anybody in any community can have extremes, I guess is what I would say.
Okay, I just saw that she wasn't denied therapy, Pepsi drinker. She actually said something, Diet Pepsi drinker. So Gypsy said something in something that I saw today, actually.
You wrote a note for it?
Yeah, I did, but I got to find it. So
I remember reading an email where she was talking to Rod about her emotions and said she went and saw a therapist today, and it didn't sound the way she characterized it like it was group. It was sounded like one.
I remember that. I don't remember if we were reading that on a call or if it was on a live. But I remember talking about it.
Okay, I gotta look for it. Sorry.
Yeah, but there are lots of classes that you can take for your well-being in that particular prison, and
Dang,
a lot of therapies. And can't find it.
Yeah, because she tells somebody straight up that people on YouTube have been creating this false narrative that she never got any therapy, and that is a total and complete lie.
And didn't she perpetuate that after she got out?
She did. She told the
Yep.
Kardashians.
Yeah.
She changes her stories constantly.
You know, I think that she was so interested in prison reform right before she got out, just because she thought that her and Kim Kardashian were going to be able to work side by side and they were going to be able to make big moves. And I really think that's what she had in her
Here it
head.
is. Okay, this is to a YouTuber.
To a YouTuber.
I do not know who this YouTuber is, but the name is not blanked out. But Millennial, I don't know if you know who this is.
I'll
but
read it.
What's the page number?
So it is page 255.
Okay.
My channel name is blank. Oh, they're an ASMR YouTuber?
They were, and then they
Oh.
changed to true crime. And
And
at that time they had like 5,000 subscribers, but this is the name. So it says hi blank.
yeah, don't say that.
I'm not going to.
I'm trying to think. I'm going to be doing some Googling here real quick while you're reading that.
Okay. So this is an outbound message, and this is on 5/1/23. Hi blank. Here are the answers to your questions. I am excited to spend quality time with my friends and family. I have a younger sister and brother who I did not have the pleasure of growing up with. So we need catching up on some sibling bonding time. Number 2, French fries. LOL, we never was fed fries in jail or prison, so a trip to McDonald's is a must. That turns my stomach just thinking about it. Okay. Number 3, advice I would give to anyone being abused is tell someone, all on caps. Even if you think no one will believe you, tell someone you trust, because believe it or not, there are people even more powerful than your abuser, and these people have special jobs specifically to help anyone being hurt. I find it interesting the way she phrases things, because she knows she's talking to a YouTuber. Number 4, I have thought about revisiting my former home for the purpose of closure. I have not yet made a decision yet.
She's
Number
not welcome
5.
there.
Huh?
She's not welcome there.
Yeah. Number 5, I struggle with forgiveness. However, I feel deep remorse. Not a day goes by that I don't regret my part in her murder. In the 8 years since her death, I have come to see her as a woman who had deep-rooted issues with mental health, and I have started therapy sessions by phone to tackle these complex feelings regarding my mother. Number 6, during my 8 years of incarceration, I have taken every opportunity to better myself. I have completed several institutional classes as well as gained my GED. I have held several different jobs ranging from warehouse work to photography. Much of what I have learned was new life experience that I didn't have upon entering into prison. Most imagine prison as the same as a jail. However, the two are very different. Prison is like a small community. There are jobs, schools, sports teams, and everything in between. I think of it as a world within a world, and it really truly is. As you can imagine, any amount of time spent gains its own life lessons, and though I have had my share of both positive and negative, I choose to focus on the positive. There are some Blanchard case obsessed individuals online who would like to have the public believe that I have refused to take therapy or do things to improve my overall well-being, and I can promise you that that is completely false. So maybe she didn't actually say she didn't have therapy. Okay. Number 7, other than a one-time letter for closure back in 2019, no, I have no communication and do not wish to have any communication with blank. It is actually part of the condition of my parole not to. Number 8, yes, I do want children of my own someday. I got married last year, and my husband blank and I have hopes of starting a family. I am asked often by people if I think I will end up continuing the cycle of abuse. To that, I say absolutely not, in capital letters. My mother wanted to prevent me from growing and having a normal life. I, however, want my children to grow and have as many of life's experiences as they can have. My hope for my future children is that they follow their dreams, and watching them succeed will be one of my prouder moments in life. Okay.
Wow.
So, and she corresponds back and forth with this YouTuber quite a bit.
Also, I try to look it up. It just kept giving me YouTube videos of different true crime cases that have her same
So
name.
they did a question and answer video on her.
Did they?
They did a question and answer video on her, and Ryan even saw it and, told Gypsy about it and everything.
Interesting. Very interesting.
And then she also tells the YouTuber that she can only talk about certain things because she has an NDA.
Huh.
For
So,
the show, I guess.
yeah. Okay. I wanted to go back to page 80, I think it was. Let me look.
I saw Ryan in a video saying he doesn't have an NDA, but they emailed about him signing an NDA for the show.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he means he doesn't have a personal NDA. Maybe they change their mind later, but it is in the emails.
Yeah, it is. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm looking. Okay, I'm going to go back to page 80. I don't think I read. No, wait, I did read that one. Hold on. Okay. Page 80. 8/24/21. No, she rarely answered the door. Oh, sorry, this is outbound. No, she rarely answered the door unless it was expected company. She would let the person knock and pretend not to be there, even though her van was parked in the driveway. Sometimes she would drive the van to another spot to appear like we weren't home. Our house looked like a hoarder house all the time unless she knew company was coming over. Her fears range from lizards as a basic normal fear to abnormal fears like me being in my own room for too long. A few times she caught me on my computer while I was in my room, so after catching me talking to people on Facebook on the computer, she didn't trust me enough to spend any time in my own room. By 2015, I was limited to changing my clothes in my room, and that's it. She would time how long it would take to change clothes, and she would get up off her bed to check on what I was doing. If I took a little too long in my room, she placed a reverse lock on my door, so it had the lock on the outside of the door, and I would have to ask her to unlock it so I could get dressed in my room. No, I didn't walk or run around the house. If she was home, but when she wasn't home, I would walk and dance too. We had a CD player, and I would listen to music that was forbidden, like Katy Perry, and dance. She didn't let me listen to pop artists because she said that I was too little for that adult content in the lyrics. I was 22 years old. As for shoplifting, we would go to Sam's Club or Walmart, and she would put me in the basket or cart, and she told me to slip things under my dress and sit on them. I did, and we would steal so much stuff like DVDs, clothes, food, hygiene products. She sometimes would have me steal DVDs, and she would go resell them at the local video buy sell trade shop. Okay. And my husband just came home the other day, and he was telling me that one of our friends from church lived right behind Dee Dee and Gypsy's house. And it was her grandfather's house, and he lived there during the murder.
Wow.
So I'm going to talk to her and ask her about it.
Nice.
That's crazy.
Because he drove over there to help them move. And when he got to her house, he's like, did you know that you live over by Gypsy's old house?
Oh, funny. Wow.
She's like, yeah, let me tell you about it. Okay. So we've got an 8/24/21 message, and it's outbound. It says, I'm going to be writing you things I remember because lately my memories are clear as day. So they may be random emails, but I'm writing what I can give you as it comes. When my mother and I were living in the Slidell House complex in 2004, 2005, my mom had a neighbor who she would sell her prescription medicine to for extra money. She started selling her weight loss pills, but then she started selling her pain pills and Xanax.
Oh shit.
This neighbor told other people in the complex, so she had more than one buyer. In 2015, my mother stole money from our neighbor Debbie Aker. After Debbie trusted my mom to put the money she made after doing an experimental trial for one of those companies that pay you to be a volunteer for a new drug or product. She knew mom had a safe, and so she asked mom to put $2,000 in the safe for her. Mom agreed, but stole a few hundred from the money. And when she realized the money was missing, mom played it off like it must have been her disturbed older son.
I feel kind of bad for Dee Dee there because, selling her weight loss pills, selling her Xanax and her pain pills, like she probably really needed those. Her weight loss pills, her pain pills, and her Xanax.
Yeah.
And people who sell like their own prescriptions as opposed to running big amounts are usually in desperate need of money.
That's correct. Yep. And I've seen it done many, many, many times. So, okay. I'm looking to see if there's anything. Okay. On 9/8/21, this is an outbound. And it says, so I seem to have a little romance brewing. I'm not trying to make a huge deal about it because I'm trying to stay focused on me. But my friend Blank and I have been friends for over a year now, and he is coming to visit again this Friday. He is my best friend besides Blank. But we have also always been flirty with each other and have great chemistry. I am just filling things out without pressure. On a positive note, Blank lives in Lake Charles, Louisiana. I thought she was talking about Ryan. On a positive note, Blank lives in Lake Charles, Louisiana, 3 hours from Cutoff, where I will be living.
Okay, so if that's when she starts talking to Ryan, or not talking to, but starting to consider dating Ryan, that's September the 8th, 2021. So it's after the flirting with the guy that I had called out earlier.
Muscles.
XXXXXX guy. I figured I would just say that so that it's clear that it doesn't seem like there was any kind of cheating going on there. Do you see right there though? It says something about a spell.
Oh, yep. That's okay.
There we go.
9/23/21 inbound. So I'm working still on a chapter that centers around the spell. So I have some questions. Tell me about your current Wiccan beliefs. When did it start? How do you practice your faith? How do you practice your faith in prison? Give me a definition to you what a spell is. What is a curse? What gives curses, spells power? Would you cast a spell or curse on someone? Have you? Okay. So let's see. I don't know where she answers this. Hold on.
I think it was a little bit below that. I read that one earlier.
Okay, here it is. It's on page 81, 10/20/21. So my current beliefs are centered around nature, karma, and willpower. I came by paganism, Wicca, by means of an old roommate and friend of mine. She introduced me to it, and I felt it was right for me. I wanted a natural-based religion that believes in karma, good energy, and bad energy. I feel your fate is in your hands rather than my previous Christian belief that all your life is written by God already. I have the belief that if you don't like your fate, then you can change it. Yeah, you do. Because life is made of choices. Some would say I'm fated to turn out like my mother because of her life choices affected how I was raised. I say I make my own fate and change that because it's in my hands and power to do so. That isn't to say I don't believe in God. I do believe there is a God. I just also believe in self willpower to steer your life in the direction you want to go. I started learning about Wicca in late December 2020. I attended Wicca services Mondays. I attend Wicca services on Mondays. How I practice my religion beliefs by allowing myself to let go of bad energy and allowing myself to give out positive energy towards others to introduce good karma to me. I often meditate and read tarot cards to guide my day and pull revelations about my life. No, I have never cursed anyone. I would never do that to someone. Yes, I have attempted a love spell. It was in 2013. I created a spell to bind Blank and I together as lovers so he would never leave me in an attempt to cancel out my mother's curse on me. I asked Blank to send me a lock of his hair, and he did. I took a strand of his hair and a short strand of mine when my mother cut my hair routinely. And I twisted the two together and enclosed it in a photo of me and a photo of him wrapped it in red yarn. The willpower of this spell was broken when I wrote to Blank. After he was sentenced and he wrote wanting to get back together, I rejected him. And with closure, the spell ended and he was free to have new relationships. Curses and spells are like wishes or a prayer for something to happen. It's called manifestation, and the karma you put in is how powerful it can be.
Okay. Real quick. Millennial, do you have any kind of experience with any kind of, I know you kind of branch out. Are you pagan rather than Wiccan?
No, I'm neither one of those. I had my phases back in the day, so I know
Okay.
about this stuff.
So
I
you
know
know a
what
little
she's
about
talking
that.
about.
I know a little
Okay.
bit about it too.
Sorry
so.
for misunderstanding. I don't know where I got that
I
from.
went to Wicca
No.
service. I went to Wicca services in the Army for a little bit.
Nice. Okay, so the reason why I asked though, aren't like love spells supposed to be kind of like controversial and like
They're
not
dangerous.
good?
They're
Yes,
dangerous.
Yeah.
They're
They're very-
considered dumb to do.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
very sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. We keep talking at the same time because of the lag. Go right ahead, Amber.
No, I was just going to say they're very dangerous, and usually they do the opposite, or they will make the love so intense that something bad happens.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because I mean, like, if she told me, like, if she said something simple, like, "Oh yeah, I hid a thing of rose quartz in his car, and I scream 7 Springs by Fleetwood Mac in the car," you know, and that's like the kind of love spell type shit that she's doing, I'd be like, "Okay, girl, I got you." But like anything like that, yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's a little worrisome.
Mm-hmm.
So funny.
Yeah, I dabbled a little bit when I was younger before I went in the Army, and then when I went in the Army, I checked it out. But oh my gosh, those people were so weird.
Oh, okay.
No,
Now.
these specific people.
Okay, the
I'm not talking
specific
about
people you were talking to. Okay, we just want to make it clear.
Yes,
Not
the
hate.
specific people I was talking to.
There's some weirdos all over the spectrum.
Okay, so on this is page 81 still, 10/30/2021. This is Outbound. I'm watching the CNN documentary about Britney Spears and the conservatorship she is under, and I feel so much sympathy for her because I know what it's like to be controlled. And when Britney talks about it, I feel her emotions because I felt that helpless feeling of being controlled and having a parent have paperwork saying that the parent has every right to control your life and you cannot do a damn thing about it because everyone deems and sees you as mentally unstable and incompetent. It makes me so sad for her.
Oh, I'm so into like I was super into the Free Britney, Free Bam Margera, Free Wendy, all that shit. But oh my God, this is a reach right here. I hate to see her connect herself to that.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, let's see.
And y'all, I understand Britney is wilding out a little bit, but I believe that she has every right to do so.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't have to approve of everything she does to believe that she deserves the freedom to mess up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she didn't need her dad in control of
She
her
didn't kill
finances.
her mama.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. We've got oh, this is funny. Okay, on 10/7/21, it's a outbound. What are FOIA records? Anything y'all need, I'll release to y'all. I'm just curious.
I hope she figured it out, y'all. You think she figured it out?
Oh my gosh.
I bet she knows now. All about
No.
FOIAs and sunshine laws.
Yeah, and just for the record, like FOIA requests, like they exist. Like you can request them. It's not illegal to get all this information.
And anybody can do it.
Anyone can do it.
Anyone.
Anyone.
Okay, here is another outbound, 10/8/21. I'm not sure, but you may get double of this one. These are who have been romantic interest. Blank, age 34, dated 2 weeks. I dumped him for blank. Blank, age 24, dated for 2 years. Blank dumped me. Blank, blank, age 41, dated for 1 year. Blank dumped me because I wasn't over blank. And then blank something, age 35.
It's
Something
kind of cut off.
Yeah,
It's
can't
hard
see
to
it.
see it. That sucks.
And then we also have blank from 9/2/2017 through 9/15/2017. Blank from 9/15/2017 through 10/2/2019. Blank from 11/18/2019 through 1/28/21. Blank is current. Our connection didn't begin as a romantic, but it seems to be going in that direction now. I've been talking with him every day for 18 months now. So I would assume that's Ryan.
Interesting. Well, now we don't have to question the timeline anymore. We found it.
So 18 months with Ryan. Is that what she said? What's
Yeah.
the date on that?
It just says current. So 10/8/2021.
10/8/2021, and they had been together for 18 months.
18 months.
Okay.
Oh, so there was overlap with Mr. Muscles.
Okay,
Mhm.
it says talking with him every day for 18 months, not dating for
Yeah,
18
so
months.
they're going in that
Oh, okay.
direction.
Okay,
Yeah.
so not cheating. Not
Okay.
cheating. But overlap. Now, who knows what Ryan was thinking and
Yeah.
what was official,
Yeah.
you know?
That's what I was
What
thinking.
she was leading him to believe and what she was putting, into writing to other people.
Okay, we've got another outbound 10/8/21. I asked blank if he would be willing to talk with you, if you had questions for him, and he said he would if you needed anything for the book. Blank's cell phone number is blank. He works as a history teacher at a Christian high school, so he normally is off work after 4 p.m. Okay. 10/8/2021 outbound. So blank will be attending my hearing on behalf of my mother's side. He has always been really supportive of me, and blank will be my speaker as my delegate. I wonder if that's Bobby from the mother's side.
Maybe.
Okay. Okay. This is an inbound message, 10/2/21. I sent pictures of what I learned from a celebrity nutritionist. I meal prep on Sundays. I make all my breakfast, lunches, and snacks and store them in the fridge. I do this on a full stomach, and I eat the same thing all week for all 3 meals daily, so I make sure I like the food. It's all based on protein and fiber. I eat first protein eggs, ham, sausage, and a whole wheat bun, no cheese since I'm lactose intolerant, and it makes me bloat if I eat. Lunch, chicken and veggies, snacks, fruit, protein, unlike cottage cheese or string cheese or yogurt, low sugar. A lot of yogurts have high sugar. Dinners are what I want. That was from Melissa Moore, I assume. I just figured I'd throw that in there.
I see something about Mad Ginger.
Right here.
Yeah.
Okay. 10/25/21. Blank claimed my medical records are public record. Therefore, it is okay to post them on social media. When told she is violating HIPAA laws, she called me a liar. When told to remove the videos, she said, well, we are not the only ones posting them. Blank blank is posting them too. She claims she doesn't have the records. She said blank has them and cannot give them back because she is under contract with Mad Ginger and blank. When confronted about her posting them on social media, she denied it after first making the comment stated above. And I can't read that part.
When she earlier admitted to posting them online. That's what the rest of it says. Yeah, guys. So just a reminder that Fancy likes to take people's literal medical documents and sell them online. It's kind of ridiculous. And whether you like Gypsy or not, that's just it's not cool. Not cool at all.
Okay, then there's one about her canteen and what she wants. Changing RC Cola to diet. I think that was after Melissa's email.
That's funny.
Let's see. Okay, here's one 10/28/21 outbound. I sent 2 emails to both Dad and blank. The one to my father was just saying that I love him, but I'm at a loss as what else to say. And then I sent one to blank telling her that I am here to support her, that I am still her daughter too, blood or not. Did I read this one the other day? I can't remember. Well, I'll finish reading it.
Okay.
I'm trying to refrain from lashing out at my father for his infidelity.
Yeah.
And I do not want my book to be a means for blank to get back at him. I fear that if this were to go in the book or documentary, he will distance himself from me. It isn't my wish to embarrass him or blank to the world. When he was caught cheating with the cookie lady the first time, I asked my father if I could put the affair in the book. And he blank really didn't want that, so I discarded the idea. Yeah, I did read this the other day.
Yeah, we read that yesterday or the other day, whenever it was. But yeah, I guess it's out now.
Weird.
Which I do feel a little bad about, but every time I start to feel bad, I think about 1,000 other reasons why it's kind of beneficial, some of the stuff that's in here, to be out in the public.
Mm-hmm. Here's an inbound one, 11/1/21. So sorry I missed you yesterday. Blank and I ended up getting the final book proposal for you done yesterday, and it's going to the publisher this week. I have a few edits to do. Yesterday, also, I was given notice I'm pre-approved to buy a home of my own. I'm making an offer on the beach house 2 blocks from the ocean. It has 2 houses on the lot, a main house and a guest house. If the buyer accepts my offer, I'd love for you to come and stay whenever you want. In the meantime, we can take 2 weeks off from interviews while we try to get the book deal for us. I'd love for you to journal and to do some writing assignments and do only 1 a day. This will help me understand your internal self. Write a story of you being released from prison and you need help from people to make it outside. Who are the helpers and why? What do they provide for you? Then do the opposite. Write out a story of being released from prison and you don't need any helpers, only you. What do you do on your own? How are you surprised at what you're capable of feeling? What do you achieve? What dreams do you achieve alone? 2. What story was easier to write and why? 3. Write out your beliefs about love. What does true love look like, feel like? What does love provide? 4. Write your beliefs about security and safety. How do you achieve it? What triggers the opposite feeling of being scared? What do you fear the most? What makes you feel safe the most? Write out a picture of the woman, it says women, you want to be. What does she do? How does she operate in the world? How does blank? Okay, so here's an inbound. Were you going to say something?
No, I saw someone to comment. I don't think I can go back, but because it's a little bit back, but it was basically someone just saying, why was Gypsy allowed to use the internet on parole when Josh Duggar is not going to be able to use it for like 20 years after he gets off parole or after he gets out of prison? Josh Duggar, it was like specifically an internet crime. And I know that Gypsy interacted with Nick and planned a lot of this on the internet, but she could have done that with really anybody. And I don't think it really has as much to do with the internet as what Josh Duggar got charged for.
Well, yeah, they're completely different.
Yeah, like when it comes to CSAM, there's a lot different restrictions, and for good reason.
Mhm.
And
They
plus,
are.
huh?
Oh, go right ahead.
I was just gonna say, Josh also keeps getting caught with phones in prison,
Mhm.
and he's gotten like his good time taken away like on a few different occasions, and I think at least twice he's gotten a phone confiscated. So, and he was literally addicted to porn of all types, and there's a lot of people that would hang around him and would see certain things on his phone when he was driving and stuff like that. So that man needs to seriously stay away from the internet, and I don't think he's going to be able to keep himself out of trouble for long once he gets out of prison.
No.
Well, I agree with you that it's, completely different situations. And yeah, obviously Josh Duggar should be off the internet. I disagree. I think that Gypsy should still be off the internet too, because
I
we
do
see
too.
a pattern of her using email, internet, whatever communication she has to
Mhm.
manipulate with people. And while that can be done through other methods, her proven pattern method is through the internet, through
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah, I don't think I necessarily think that I don't necessarily disagree with you that it'd be best if she were off of the internet, but I'm just thinking from like a legal standpoint as to like we already know that the Missouri Parole Board doesn't really care. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So keeping that in mind also, they're going to think, okay, well, you're not immediate danger to a child or something like that. That's not
Mhm.
what your crime's about. That's probably the thought process. Not that I don't agree that it'd be best for her to be off the internet, but I was just trying to explain that that's probably the thought process behind what happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
Probably, but Josh Duggar is a whole other thing. And my mom knew his grandma, and we'll get into that another time.
Yeah, when you guys were talking about it, I was just thinking, standing in his living room and looking at him as a child,
You didn't think that he would be all that he is today.
no.
Yeah, crazy, crazy, crazy. But that's a story for another time. Anyway, moving on.
Okay. So, let's see. Here's another inbound 11/14/21. I found a lot of resources for you so you can see that you'll be able to be successful and independent person, and there's a lot of help available. There's free money called grants. There's paid housing by the government, so just keep on taking from everybody, that will pay for your apartment. There's food stamps. This is all to just help you start your new life, and you won't need them long term. Here's an example of what you could do on parole. Apply to community college. Pell Grants will pay 100% of the college. Apply for HUD. They will pay for your apartment. Apply for a part-time job, $17 an hour at Walmart as a stalker or associate. There's a lot of other jobs too at different places. 3, apply for state food stamps and healthcare. The state healthcare pays 100% dental and medical plus mental health. 4, open a Capital One bank account. Use the 360 savings. 5, open a secured credit card. This will build your credit fast. Everyone is accepted. Use no more than 30% of the card limit at a time, as credit cards will ding you if you max out cards or use more than 50% of card limit. Number 6, apply for local driving school. They can let you use driving simulators to practice before you have a car to use. Then, after applying for all these things, look for apartments or housing. You have enough for a deposit and a first month's rent, which is needed. So why does she need HUD? Right now, you'll need to pull your credit and see what's on there. If there's fraud from your mom, I'll reach you how to fix. Your credit is what's pulled when getting a place.
Wow, that's crazy. So I think we're probably going to start winding down.
Mhm.
But as you were reading that, I did see one last thing I kind of want to read. It's at the very end of the page.
Mhm.
It's from 11/02/2021, and we'll leave you with this one. It's outbound from Gypsy. I'm very disappointed in society's view of prisoners and the negative stigma it has. Today, Ryan was put on administrative leave from teaching at Blank Christian School for the simple fact that I am his girlfriend. A parent of one of the kids at the school where he works reported seeing the TikTok video with a new picture of me and Ryan announcing that we were a couple, and the school felt it was necessary to place him on leave for who he was in a relationship with. This is ridiculous. So we've been hearing a lot about that sort of thing recently, so it just kind of reminded me of that. Do you have any closing thoughts, Millennial, before we get into some of our thank yous for the night?
No, not really. Just, as I keep saying over and over, this is all so weird, y'all. Every time we get any weirder, we find more stuff and we're just like, whoa.
Yeah. And again, we're barely through it. So you guys still have to put up with us for a little longer, going through them, and then
like 700-800 more pages.
So we might not do things every single day, but every single day we'll probably at least try and work on getting some good ones together for some good live streams.
Yeah, and before I forget, on Saturday we are having Nancy Simpson from the Toll podcast on. She's going to be talking about journalism and true crime in Missouri.
Okay, very interesting. It'll be exciting to have her. We've had a pretty full week.
Yeah.
What is it, Wednesday? Oof.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we're just going to go into our thanks for the night.
Mhm.
So we want to welcome
Racine's
Noir. Sorry, I was like, what is that? Racine's Noir, for being a new member.
Thank you.
And oh, you guys are getting me again. Runex. Sorry. Runex for a new member.
Thank you.
We want to thank you, Misha. Thank you, ladies, for your hard work. Thank you for your donation, and thank you for watching us, because there's a lot of stuff going into this.
Yeah.
Catherine, thank you again.
Thank
You're always
you.
coming in with these. You're so sweet. Thank you, Carissa JB, for the super sticker.
Thank you.
CJB Comedy, you've been a true person who's come in here every single time, even before we started doing these big live streams. So we appreciate the heck out of you.
Yes,
Had
thank
to show
you.
some love. Y'all rock. No jippity. Love
No
back
doubt.
to you, to CJ Comedy. Kathleen, thank you, ladies. Thank you, Kathleen.
Thank you.
Jess, just tossing a little something to help with the cost of these. I appreciate you, and thank you for sharing these with us. Now,
you.
I want to make it very clear. I don't think we paid any money for these specific ones.
We haven't.
No, we didn't pay any money for these specific ones. Now, there are some other FOIA requests that my mom has put in herself that we've paid quite a bit of money for,
Mhm.
and some that we are waiting for the final word on. What was it that Nick's
whole file from Green
whole
County.
file, which is the thing that we were initially fundraising for. They kind of put a pause on it a couple days before we were supposed to get it in the mail.
Mhm.
And it was because he's trying with, I guess not the appeal, but what is it?
The habeas corpus.
The habeas corpus.
Yeah.
So I think we have to wait until at least the 15th before we get word on that. So we do appreciate it. Everything that goes to us is going to go towards back into what we've already spent for the podcast. We have a bunch of different stuff. And then also we're going to be going to Crime Con.
Yeah, and plus I get FOIAs all the time. I just
Yeah.
got a response on another Jelani Day FOIA. I was told that they're going to look at the information that I requested and then make a decision on whether they will release it, since it's still an active case.
It's an active case that they're not actively looking into. If you guys have time, I would definitely appreciate it if you would go and watch our interview with his mother, Carmen Bolden Day.
Mhm.
There's a little bit of technical difficulties, but
she was a
regardless,
trooper.
She was a trooper, and it was an honor to have her on.
Yeah.
Now we're getting into 1970s Gen Xer moderates. Thank you so much. You're always so sweet gifting the membership.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. And your wife is doing an amazing job up here.
Yes.
Before you guys all go, I see that there's still 793 of you. And if you guys don't go and subscribe to 1980 Millennial Commentates, we're going to fight. We're going to personally.
Thank you, Laura.
I want to see more people, because she's been reading these documents. She's been going through them, and she deserves them so much. Okay. So we got 3 in a row from Cherokee Girl. Thank you so much for your memberships that you are gifting. Welcome to all the new members then as well.
Yes.
And then here we go to Swifty Rep TV. She has no remorse and needs more than phone therapy sessions. It depends on who she's writing in these emails versus what story she's or via what story she tells. Yeah, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Heather Kelly, thank you for becoming a new member.
Thank you.
Welcome. We're going to have to get some new stuff coming out for our members.
Mhm.
And then we've got Sam with the peace sign. Peace. What's
Thank
up,
you.
Sam? Thank you so much. Welcome to My Novellas, a new member.
Thank you.
And then Ashley Baby, thank you so
Hey,
much.
Ashley, she's the one tearing it up on TikTok.
Yes, I've seen some of your videos. I remember. I think I might have reposted one of them. I definitely liked it. But yes, thank you guys so much, everyone, for joining in. Thank you, 1980 Millennial Commentates, for
Yes.
coming on
Yes,
and
thanks for having me.
going through all this with us. Again, if you are on a mobile device, you don't even have to exit out of this in order to go and subscribe to her right now. So you better go and make a move on it. So thank you, everyone. Anyone else have anything else to say?
No, I just I hope that everybody has a very blessed day and that you go out and do something great to change the world.
Absolutely.
Bye,
Thank you,
everybody.
everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.